Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the fenders from any Volkswagen Passat B6 or B7 out there. So as you can see, I have this car and the fenders are all rusted. This is a common problem on Volkswagen cars and not only on Passat, but you'll find many Volkswagen cars like Golf or Jetta or even Skoda which has this rusting problem with the fenders and also with the metal parts. So what you have to do first is to remove the front bumper on the car, because otherwise if you don't remove the front bumper you won't have access to the bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car. So as you can see, I have right here the new fenders, the new front fenders which I'm going to install on the car. I bought those from Poland. This is the country where they come from and they are in a very good quality. I also bought them directly sprayed with the paint on the car code, so I don't have to worry about anything else. I only have to worry about mounting the fenders on the car and that's it. So first what you'll have to do is to remove the front grille, and to remove the front grille you'll have some bolts at the top of the grille, then you'll have two more bolts underneath the number plate. If you have parking sensors on your car, I recommend you to not pull very hard from the center grille, because the connectors from behind it are directly connected to the sensors from the grille. So if you pull very hard, you can break the connectors and you'll have more problems in the future. So just pull it a little bit in the front of the vehicle. You'll have to disconnect the connectors from behind the sensors, and only after that you can go ahead and put the front grille aside. After that, what you have to do is to lift the car up. I recommend you to lift both of the front wheels up, and you'll have to remove the wheels, and also you'll have to remove the mudguards on each side. So you'll have to remove all of the bolts which are securing the mudguards, which are securing the dust protection on each wheel arch. You'll have to remove them completely, and only after that you'll have access to the bolts which are securing the fender, and also you'll have access to the bolts which are securing the front bumper mounted to the car. So after you completely remove the mudguard from the wheel arch, I recommend you all to remove this little sponge which is installed right here inside the fender, and this is the main cause of rusting in the fenders. So this little sponge is containing water due to the outside weather and also due to the washing of the car, and because of that the little sponge will stay wet all the time and it will cause the fenders to get rusted. So as you can see, what you have to do after that, you'll have to remove all of the bolts which are securing the bumper mounted to the car. You'll have one bolt right here and you'll have two bolts inside there. After that you'll have to go under the car and you'll have to remove all of these bolts from under the front bumper, and you'll have to do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay everybody, so as you can see, right here I removed the bolts which are securing the front bumper mounted to the car. I removed them on each side and also onto the other side, and right now I'm able to remove the front bumper completely from the car. If your car has parking sensors and also if your car has a headlight washer system, I recommend all to not remove the bumper completely unless you have to, because if you want to remove it completely, you'll have to disconnect the hoses from the headlight washer system and you'll leak some fluid and you'll have more work to do. So in my case, for example, I'm not going to remove the bumper completely off from the car because I don't have to. I installed right here a piece of board under the front bumper and I will let the bumper sit on the board because I only have to remove it a little bit to have access to the bolts which are securing the fender to the car, and I don't have to remove the bumper completely. So as you can see, to remove it you'll have to pull from the sides, very easy. Don't pull it very hard because I don't want to break the plastic clips. And after that, as you can see, after it's coming out, you'll have to let it hang on a piece of board or on anything you have in your garage, and you'll have to let it sit like this. So I hope you all are able to see. Those are all the connectors which you'll find behind your bumper. For example, in this Volkswagen Passat B6, you'll have a lot of connectors because I also have parking sensors, I have automatic parking system, and I also have headlight washer. So this bumper is equipped fully with all the options which it can have, and you'll have a lot of connectors behind it. So this is why I told you all to not remove it completely, because you don't have to. After that, what you have to do is to remove those little rivets which are holding this plastic clip, and underneath this plastic clip you will find two bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car. After that, you'll have to go right here at the top under the hood, and you'll have to remove all of these bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car. Then what you'll have to do is to open the door, and you'll find one more bolt right here in this location. You'll have to remove also this little bolt if you want to remove the fender from the car. And after, you'll have to go inside the wheel arch, and you'll have to remove this sponge from right here. After you remove this sponge, you'll find also three more bolts which you'll have to remove and which are securing the fender mounted to the car. And to remove this little sponge, what you have to do is to pull it to the exterior. In some cases this sponge is glued to the factory fenders, but normally you'll be able to remove it using your hand. So just make sure you don't break it completely. In my case, as you can see, I broke it in half, but this is not a problem because you can also install it back in the car in the same way. So as you can see, the top part of the sponge is not coming out, but I will remove it once the fender is completely out from the car. So with the sponge removed, what you have to do next is to remove this bolt from right here. And after that, you'll have to go right here at the bottom, and you'll have two more bolts which you'll have to remove. Those are the two more bolts which you'll have to remove from the bottom. I recommend you all to clean the area very good, because you don't want to strip the threads, or you don't want to break the bolts, because otherwise you won't be able to remove the fender from the car unless you break everything else. So to begin, you'll have to remove all of the bolts which I already showed you, and after that you'll be able to remove the fender completely out of the car. And to install the new one, I recommend you all to not rush with the things. You'll have to align the fender with the rest of the parts of the car, because you don't want to put it in the wrong way, or you don't want to put it too much in one way and too little in the other way, because in some cases if you put it wrong, you will hit it with the door and you will scratch it, or you will hit it with the hood when you're about to close the hood, and this is not good because you will destroy the new fender. So just follow what I'm doing, just do the exact things which I'm about to do in this video, and you'll be good to go. Okay everybody, so as also I removed all of the bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car, and now all I have to do is to pull the fender out from the car. Don't pull very hard because you don't want to scratch the hood, because in some cases you can hit it with the fender, so just make sure that you will pull very slowly from the fender. Make sure you disconnect all the crevices and make sure it's connected from all the corners, and eventually you will be able to remove it completely from the car. And as you can see, in my case I remove it very easy. I didn't have to struggle with the fender, so in my case everything is perfectly. From here I also recommend you all to remove the plastic rivets on which you'll have to install the bolts back on the new fender. So you'll have to remove all of these plastics from the holes and you'll have to put them in the new fender because the new one didn't came with them. So you'll have one right here. This is the plastic rivet which you'll have to remove. After that you'll have 4 right here. You'll have 3 right here in this area, and you'll have another one right here in the corner. Also, before installing the new fender back on the car, I recommend you all to take some comprimated air and clean the holes very good on which you'll have to put the bolts, and also you'll have to clean the area because in this way you will know for sure that you are doing a very good job on your car. So as you can see, I have right here the new fender. This is the new fender which I'm going to install on the car. I already mounted all the plastic rivets in the holes, and from here everything is good to go. I'm able to put it back on the car, and I have to make sure that the fender will slide properly on the car. So from here just follow what I'm doing. It's very easy, but you have to take in mind that you don't have to worry because in some cases you can scratch it or you can bend it before finishing installing it on the car. So as you can see, this is the temporary position on which you'll have to install the fender. Just look at the lines, you'll have to look to make everything perfectly. You'll have to install everything in the exact way as you disassembled the old one, because you don't want to push it too much inside, and in this way the lines will not be perfectly with the hood or with the door. So you'll have to push it just a little bit. You'll have to make sure that everything is straight, and only after that you can go ahead and put the bolts back on the fender. You'll have to tighten the bolts to make sure that the fender is completely secured with the car. And as you can see right here, I'm already done with installing the fender back on the car. This is the position which I choose to go with. Everything is perfectly, the line are perfectly, even with the headlight everything is straight. So from here I already checked with the doors and with the hood, so I'm not hitting in everything, so the lines are perfectly. And as you can see right here, this is the perfectly distance. This is the normal distance which you have to have on your car. I also installed the bolts from the bottom and from the top, so from here I'll have to go ahead and also replace the other one from the other side. As you can see, when I'm going to open the door, the lines are perfectly even in this way, and when I open the door, it's not hitting, it's not grabbing, it's not stretching. So as you can see, the door is closing and it's opening perfectly. And also the hood, if you want to close the hood, the lines also should be perfectly with the fender. Just look right here. This is the perfect distance which you'll have to have on your car. This is now with the hood closed completely, and as you can see, the line is perfectly from the finish to the bottom. And now I can go ahead and replace also the other fender from the other side. Okay everybody, as you can see, now I'm done with installing the fenders back on the car. I installed the front bumper, I installed everything, so as you can see, the lines are perfectly, the fender is installed perfectly, and I also recommend you all to install new fenders on the car because the fitment will be perfectly. So as you can see, in my case, the car it's now in a very good condition. Also, the fitment was perfectly. I didn't have to struggle with the door or with the hood or with the front bumper to assemble it and to grab it onto the fender. So from here it's looking very good. Thank you all for watching. This is how to replace the front fender on any Volkswagen Passat, B6, B7, Skoda, Seat. Everything is the same. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video and found it informative, please leave a like and comment down below. See you next time.